Hey everyone, Falling Star here with the latest August test server stuff. This isn't a huge test server in the terms of new stuff, but there are quite a few changes to old things. I believe this is a test server for Season 5 of Global and Season 12 for the Chinese server, since the new patch is only about 2.5 weeks for China, and there were quite a few data mines for the new season. Why am I mentioning this? It's because normally with a new season comes a new character. However, this test server has no new character. Are they preparing for a release mid-patch? Who knows? I don't know. On the Chinese server, Flavia came out mid-patch. However, that was in preparation for the full release, before technically the game was only in open beta test. So I don't know, but chances are we're not getting a new character this patch. Anyways, the usual warning, this is just a test server, things can and probably will change from the test server to release, and let's get started. To start, not really anything new, but the new grenade got mentioned again. I'm guessing that since it didn't release last time, it's gonna release this patch. If you didn't watch my last video, TLDR, it's a grenade that acts like an interceptor but for bullets from both sides. The effect will deteriorate over time, so the longer it has been on the field, the less bullets it will block. Now, for probably the biggest change this patch, you guys saw a bit of it in the intro, let me just show it to you in full. This change applies to ranked demolition, unranked demolition, escort, and conquest. As you can see, the buy menu has been completely reworked and redesigned. This isn't the first time this has happened. The buy menu has been redesigned a few times already. However, now in the buy menu, you can swap your grenades, you can swap your secondaries, and equip your tactical skill. Yes, tactical skills are making a comeback. Those of you that have played Bobblehead Brawl have probably seen it already. It's this set of skills that has been added to the Chinese server for a while, but never really been used. Now, after a bunch of reworks, they are being added again. A bunch of characters have completely new tactical skills, while some others I believe haven't really changed. What has changed is that now tactical skills act like consumables. Basically, after you use them, you can't use them anymore. They also replace a grenade, so if you take your tactical skill, you cannot take a second grenade. Moving on, the custom map creator has some new additions. There's this new module, a launch pad that will launch players 6 meters into the air when the players walk on them. That's about 3 blocks, if you're wondering. A mass copy and paste and a quick test function has been added so that map makers can have an easier time making and testing their maps. For a quick test, you do need to have all the required modules, but when you do, just press F5 and you will start quick testing. And for the mass copy paste, you just use the middle mouse button to drag and select multiple items. You use C to copy and then left click to paste. A new escort map has been added. For now, I will just call it Erebus Caverns. I don't know what its actual name on release will be, so I'll just use a temporary name. It's an escort map. Supposedly, it's also a copy of Dorado from Overwatch, although I'm not sure because I haven't played Overwatch. You be the judge. Anyways, moving on to the balance changes. Temporary armor no longer has a maximum and will no longer decay. It will just disappear after a certain amount of time. Temporary armor from the same skill will no longer stack. However, this change does not apply to Outbreak. You can still stack armor in Outbreak. La Wai now has 2 knives to throw. Her knives do 2 scans each, have a cooldown of 25 seconds instead of 30, takes 2 seconds to scan instead of 2.5, and all her scans now reveal for 2 seconds instead of 3. Even if she is invisible, she's now able to fire her gun while she is in ult. However, if she attacks while in her ult, even when not inside of a zone, she will be unable to go invis for 3 seconds. The upgrade that added 2 seconds to her reveal time now only adds 1. Her Awakening 2 lasts 3 seconds instead of 4. And her Awakening 3 now lasts 20 seconds and self-destructs after scanning the maximum amount of times. Riichi's swap scope upgrades change to swap to fast scope upgrade, which on top of the original effects also increases the ADS speed by 20%. His Awakening 2's temp armor is now 20 temp armor for 6 seconds. Ming's active skill now lasts 4 seconds instead of 3, slows enemies for 3 seconds instead of 5, however only damages enemies for 10 shield per tick. Her ult now just ups and gives you 100 temp armor for 12 seconds. Her Awakening 2 now instantly gives 45 armor, which lasts for 10 seconds. And her Awakening 3 now recovers 20 armors per second instead of 15. Merida's ultimate now lasts for 20 seconds instead of 25. And her Awakening 1 now require a blue and a yellow upgrade instead of 2 yellows. Yvette's Awakening 3 changed to instead of charging at the enemies, it will jump where it is and create an ice field. Some people were asking about this on the official Discord. This ice field will consume a charge. Michelle's Awakening 2 changed to every time a turret gets destroyed within 45 meters of herself, she gets 40 armor for 10 seconds. Kokona's ult can now be casted on a live teammate. When casted on a teammate that is still alive, the teammate will receive a 40% damage reduction, a 10% movement speed buff, a 10% fire rate buff, and 20 weapon usability, which basically increases the reload speed, scope and speed, and swap weapon speed. The buff will last for 12 seconds. Leona's Awakening 3 changed to when blocks gets destroyed, it will explode and causes knockback and deal some damage to nearby enemies. Yukiri's Awakening 3 has an added effect. When inside her Poison Mist, she recovers armor. This effect will not get interrupted by damage. Flavia's active skill CD has been increased by 5 seconds, so now it has a cooldown of 30 seconds instead of 25 seconds. Her butterflies now last 7 seconds instead of the old 5. The upgrade that originally added 2 seconds to her butterflies from her active skill now reduces cooldown by 5 seconds. Her Awakening 3 no longer scales with the amount of damage that the orb took before being destroyed. Instead, it will just give 40 temp armor when the timer runs out or the orb gets destroyed. The scan from Nobu's ultimate will now last 2 seconds instead of the old 5 seconds. This is what the reveal currently looks like. Xinghui's active skill now gives 30 temp armor to herself and the specified ally for 10 seconds, and her ultimate will give 100 temp armor for 12 seconds for herself and the specified ally. With these changes and the removal of a temp armor limit, she could theoretically have a 380 effective HP. You probably won't see a Xinghui with 250 shield every day, but it's possible. Fuchsia's active skill now has a range of 25 instead of the old 20. So both Audrey and Galatea has received massive changes. The overheating from Audrey's active skill, aka her Q or just her turret, now takes 4 seconds instead of the old 6.6 seconds. However, it only takes 3 seconds to cool down instead of the old 10. In addition, Audrey's Awakening 1 and 3 has their effect swapped. So Awakening 1 will now be the movable track upgrade requiring a blue, a green, and a yellow. And the Awakening 3 is now the Infinite Fire upgrade, where it also has the added effect of increasing her fire rate as she fires. This now requires a blue, 2 yellows, and a green. Her Awakening 2 now it has a base damage of 6 and no longer forbids the use of her primary, requiring 3 blues, 1 yellow, and 1 green. Galatea's ult now takes 6 points instead of 5 points. The hitbox for her cards have been reduced, and the scans of her clones no longer need line of sight, aka her scans now penetrate walls. And her clones now assume a firing pose and rotate from time to time. Instead of fire rate, her Awakening 1 now grants 20 temporary armor for 6 seconds. For Chio, her ult now takes a 1.8 seconds to pull out instead of yall 2, however it will now take 2 seconds to charge instead of 1.5. And that is basically it for this patch. Honestly, not a huge patch in terms of new content, pretty dry in that aspect. According to the data mine, the event and skin on sale is going to be a rerun as well. Although for you guys that play on global, it's going to be new for you. Apparently it's going to be these skins on screen. The Ming skin was present in the Groove auction if I recall correctly. I guess the new grenade was delayed for this patch to add some more content here. Maybe this is because they were working on their promises they made in the offline event in Shenzhen a while back. I'll put the TLDR up on screen right now and link my Reddit post if you guys haven't seen it yet. They drew a huge pie, and I hope they're using this patch to actually turn that pie into reality. This was, however, a big patch in terms of just normal changes, so have fun with that, everyone. Anyways, before I go, I would like to thank my channel members for supporting me. Thank you, Wikai and 96yuku. Also, if you aren't subscribed, the channel is so close to 1,000 subscribers. Please subscribe so we can hit that milestone. Anyways, that's it from me. I will see you guys next time.
你可逃不出我的扫射范围。敌人没有招架之力了。